Yo, it's Rocco B, Scotty G, highly explicit NFL podcast, and we're back for episode 9. We also got Dr. Tomas with us. He's dropping his mock draft. But everybody, before I forget again, I want to ask you, how you doing?
Please don't forget.
And Scotty G wants to ask you something.
How you doing?
Dr. Tomas, you want to say hello to the people or what?
Greetings.
Here's the deal. Episode 9, like I told you, we are getting to Dr. Tomas's mock draft. He tore us apart a little bit on certain things, and he liked a couple other things that we did on our mock drafts. But now we're going to have him put his fucking money where his mouth is, and he's going to do his mock draft, and we're going to see how he does. Mr. Prognosticator himself. Dr.
I'm excited.
So, other than that, Scotty G, you got anything off you want to go off your chest?
I got nothing. I got nothing to fucking say today. I got nothing going on.
So, basically, last episode, you're going to tell me, you're going to come off top of the show and say, did you hear what my Dallas Cowboys said about Mr. Pots and Pans, your favorite Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, I think it's the craziest thing I've ever heard if they go up and take fucking Kyle Pitts. I really do think that's nuts.
I said on episode 8 that I think you are fucking correct. I think the Dallas Cowboys got to go defense, or at worst, they go offensive line at number 10. But
just to remind everybody, I will stand this ground. If the Dallas Cowboys somehow, some way get Kyle Pitts, the Cowboy average score will be about 60 to 70 points, and the opposing team will be about 50 to 80 points. Guaranteed.
Well, I agree with you there, but I will say that I got an interesting take.
I was just going to say, boys, is it safe to say if the Cowboys pass on Kyle Pitts if he falls to 10, are they completely out of their pits?
I'll tell you what. Listen,
that was worth the wait.
And fuck it, we'll get into it. I'm gonna get into it right now. I told you guys. I said they cannot take Kyle Pitts, no matter what, even if he is there at 10. Which, of course, he ain't gonna fucking be there at 10. But that's the only chance I believe that you're gonna get him and not make me pissed off and not make me feel like, we completely fucked up. If Jerry Jones selects Kyle Pitts at number 10, I can deal with it because I got a couple different stats that I'm going to throw at you. I do not, and I repeat, I do not want Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and the Dallas Cowboys front office to trade up to get rid of draft capital, get rid of the future to trade up for a tight end when we need badly a new defense.
So you're saying you're not opposed to if he falls to you, you just don't want to trade up for him?
I do not want to trade up for him, but I will say.
But you would take him.
I would take him at number 10.
You're out of your tits like the rest of the Dallas fans.
I agree there. There's no way that you trade up for Kyle Pitts in that situation. 10 is going to be loaded with prospects for you guys to take there. If Kyle Pitts does somehow fall to 10, that's a no-brain decision. But you don't move up for the guy, not with the amount of weapons the Cowboys have right now.
Absolutely.
Rocco, can you remind me and everybody else what that defensive line, some of the names on there, and then a lot of them that are gone, like Alden Smith, who's not coming back probably. Can you remind some of the names on there? Because they're all an average age of like 35.
Well, they overpaid for DeMarcus Lawrence. He's a guy that needs someone else either on the interior or on the other side to take a double team off of him. I like his motor. I think he plays the run well. He's like Kwity Paye in this draft. I don't think he's going to have 15 sacks, but he's going to be a run player. He's going to be a nice 4-3 end that needs to be on the opposite of somebody else. Tyrone Crawford, our middle guy that we've had for years, is just retired. Our 3 technique, he retires. Then you got Alden Smith, who came in fucking after being out of the league for 18 years, and he fucking actually looked great. But they weren't going to bring him back.
But he's not coming back.
They're not coming back.
So you got Lawrence, overpaid Lawrence.
They brought in a couple guys. You remember Terrell Basham for the New York Jets.
He's actually good.
All right, so they brought him in. Then they brought in an underrated kid in the middle, defensive tackle Brent Urban from Chicago.
You guys signed Basham this offseason? I thought the Jets re-locked him up.
No, we got Basham on the other end. We got a couple guys like a Bradley Anai that was a rookie last year on the other end. And then, you got on the inside, Tristan Hill, which was, I think, a stretch a couple years ago in the draft.
So you don't have much on the defensive line.
What they got to do, and they got Neville Gallimore, who's going to be a stud from Oklahoma.
Now let's go back. What about your safeties or your cornerbacks not named Diggs?
So what you're saying is you're skipping over the strength of the team, which is linebackers.
The strength is linebackers.
Gotcha.
But unfortunately, the front half and the back half are a little bit more important in the defense and just the way it is.
Absolutely. But the
that's just how it
secondary,
is.
you got Trayvon Diggs, who's going to be a stud. but he's only one, right? Safeties, you brought in a guy, KZ from Atlanta, who was a pick monster, right? That's what we need as a ball hawk, but he's got injuries. Just like the Keanu Neal move, they brought him in, who I thought would have played safety. He's going to play weak side linebacker. So you got now the two guys from Atlanta coming in, Neal and KZ. The other safety, I think it's up in the air. I think, do they stick with Donovan Wilson? Do they stick with him and roll with him and KZ back there? But they still need another corner. I don't think Jordan Lewis is an outside corner. I think he's a slot guy, so he's got to be your number 3.
Well,
so
Rocco,
that's why they need Patrick Surtain at number 10.
Let's get beyond thinking that this number 10 needs to patch up any holes. I think that's the most overused misconception about the draft, is that you're filling a specific need there. I think the Cowboys have to take best player available there. I think we're all on the same page. If Pitts is at 10, he's your guy. But at the same time, you take the best guy there. You're going to be able to fill holes there.
I disagree, because if it's Surtain and Pitts, there's a lot of people that argue Pitts is actually the better guy. And I'm saying you can't take him. And this is why. Just like what you said, in the secondary and the D-line, you got shit. Your strength is in the linebacker crew, who, guess what? They didn't even show up last year. So who knows if they even rebound and show up again next year. We can hope they do. But if they don't, you have nothing on defense besides Diggs and Lawrence. That's it. That you know of for sure. Everything else is a surefire question mark.
You're drafting for 3 years down the line, though. You're not drafting for this upcoming season.
Yes.
Jerry,
yes.
I don't know.
Yes, but
Jerry needs to get it done now.
But here's the thing. You have to, there's certain guys that you can take in the draft, especially in the top 10, that will make an immediate impact for you. I think Surtain is going to make an immediate impact, but I also think so would fucking Pitts, right? The issue is what do we have opposite Trayvon Diggs at corner? Nada. What do we have at tight end? I like Blake Jarwin. If Blake Jarwin can fucking stay healthy, I think he's an athletic tight end that will show up on the stat sheet. He'll show up in games. We at least have that. We don't have another fucking corner. So that's why I think corner is the most important, especially with Surtain, because Surtain plays the game like I want him to, like I want the game to be played. He'll match up perfectly with Diggs. They played on the same team. They know each other. Dan Quinn would make those guys fucking phenomenal. But let me get into Kyle Pitts for just a second, and let me get into a reason why I believe he's going to turn this fucking first-round tight end bullshit around, and then I'll give you the reason why you fucking can't overdraft a tight end in the first round. So, guys, what do you want to hear first?
Receiver.
What do you, and that's the other thing. That's the other thing we don't realize, guys.
Receiver, basically.
We don't understand, guys. Some of these teams might use him as a receiver. Some of these teams might not want to line him up next to a tackle. Some of these teams might not even put him on the fucking line.
I saw a quote.
That's the one thing Dallas doesn't need.
Agreed. Yes, agreed.
I saw a quote about Kyle Pitts recently that someone said, if you feel uncomfortable about drafting a tight end that high in the draft, just put wide receiver in front of his name. It's essentially picking a wide receiver.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
But like I just said, that's the one thing Dallas doesn't need is another fucking receiver.
You're right. You're right.
That's what they don't need.
So again, I will put in my opinion on, will I feel terrible if they take him at 10? No. Will I feel absolutely pissed off if they trade up for this guy? Yes. He's not going to be there at 10. I know that. But I'm just saying, I don't want to trade up, but I wouldn't not take him. Here we go. The reason why. Do you want to hear the bad or the good first?
Always the bad.
All right.
Yeah, always the bad.
Here's the bad. So you want to talk about first-round tight ends, okay? We're not going to go back to Mike Ditka, who's a fucking Hall of Famer who was taken 4th overall. We're not going back that far. But you want to go back to, say, 2014. Eric Ebron, first round for Detroit. They took him 10th. You know who they missed out on? They missed out on Aaron Donald, OBJ, Kyle Fuller, Zach Martin, and Taylor Lewan. Could you imagine, okay, missing out on fucking all pros like that just because you took this fucking bust of a tight end? They did it again in 2019 with TJ Hawkinson at number 8, right? They don't learn, okay? They missed out on Josh Jacobs there. They missed out on A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, the Detroit Lions, okay? Here's the other guy that everyone's kind of comparing Pitts to is O.J. Howard. You remember O.J. Howard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
O.J. Howard.
Kind of a bust himself.
Exactly. Unbelievable in college. Same kind of metrics. They're 6'5" 3/4. They're about 245 pounds. They run a 4.5 40. You know, and of course, Pitt's running a sub 4.5. But look at the difference. I want to tell you, look at the difference between the stats that O.J. Howard put up in his senior year, where everybody was fucking shooting in their shorts over this guy and made him the 19th pick in the first round in 2017. He played in 15 fucking games. 15. He had only 45 catches, 600 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He got drafted 19th because of that season, okay? Let's just go real quick to Kyle Pitts' fucking season last year. The guy played in basically half the games, 8 games, had the same amount of catches, 770 yards, and quadruple the amount of touchdowns. 12. This guy's a fucking touchdown machine, and he's somebody who, if you put him on the line, he's like a Darren Waller, where he's almost like a receiver / tight end. Nobody's going to cover this fucking guy. Nobody. To me, they say when you draft a tight end in the first round, it's basically like a unicorn. You're imagining things that aren't there. This is the fucking unicorn, okay? This is the guy. If I'm Atlanta, I do not move. I stay at 4. I say, Arthur Smith, here's your fucking early Christmas present, brother. Kyle Pitts to Atlanta at number 4. And in Scotty's draft, Detroit trades in to number 4 to take another fucking tight end in the first round. But this time they'll hit.
I think your proposition here, all your stats and stuff, I think it makes more of a point that Detroit won't trade up and make the same mistake for a third time. But my point is, Kyle Pitts, like you're saying he's the unicorn, that's a big ask. Like that's a 1 in a million chance is what you're saying, basically, based on your stats and your numbers and your belief in how hard it is to pick a tight end. So you're not only saying taking a tight end in the first round is a crapshoot, and you think this is the one guy, which who knows, you might be right, but that's a big risk to take for a guy whose job's on the hot seat. But not only that, but you're saying take him in the fucking top 5?
Yes,
dude. I think that's way too much.
I'm saying
my family's lives are on this. Where I live, my house, I'm gonna risk it all on some guy that you think's a fucking unicorn.
Well,
that's nuts.
Scott, you have to remember. I do remember when Kellen Winslow Jr. came out and he was getting this level of hype, how he was going to change the game. But one thing to consider,
he changed the fucking something already.
I'm right there with you.
That's inside of a jail cell.
I'm right there with you with that. So you have to be careful with tight ends. But we are also in 2021 where we're coming off a year where Travis Kelce was the league's leading receiver. Yes. Teams are looking for matchup nightmares now. So as much as we can debate what the Cowboys should do at 10 if he's there, he ain't going to be there, fellas.
No, he won't be there. What I'm saying is Scotty, yes. Would I invest a top 5 pick in this guy? Yes. Would I invest a top 5 pick in a tight end? Absolutely not. But I would do it with this guy. I also, though, am saying that I would not trade up. I'm not going to trade up from 10.
Would you take any type of offense in that 10th pick?
Yes, offensive line.
Offensive line, I can understand that.
Yeah.
But other than offensive line, would you take any other weapons? No. Running back, wide receiver, tight end?
Like I said for the mock draft, they should
quarterback,
not take.
Fuck, who knows?
No, they should not take anything else if it's not defense other than offensive line.
Now, when we're talking offensive line, are we talking Penei Sewell or anyone there?
Well, I like it a Penei Sewell, It's my favorite meal, But no, Penei Sewell ain't going to be there at 10 either. I would take, a guy like a Slater or a guy like a Vera Tucker at 10. That's what I would do. And guess what?
Wow, Vera Tucker at 10 is
you could probably
bit of a
trade
stretch.
back. You could probably trade back a couple picks and get those guys still. I worry, and honestly, people are picking Miami to get Slater at 6, which is insane to me. You're not passing up Penei Sewell. Here's the thing. Would I not trade up to get this guy? I just wouldn't where the Cowboys are now, okay? I wouldn't take a tight end in the top 5, top 6, top 7. I wouldn't. This guy's not a tight end. And as Dr. Tomas said, Kelce led the league in yards, and he was second in catches as a tight end. If he played Week 17, he would have led in both. So the thing is honestly, if I give you the list of the guys that you guys would all say are fucking incredible, Gronk, Ertz, Kelce, Goddard, Jonnu Smith, Kittle, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller, all these guys were from the second round to being undrafted, right?
And that's my point. Tight ends are important. I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying your team doesn't need it, but to take a top 5 or the first round, I think is crazy when your entire career depends on it with a lot of these positions, especially in a top 5 pick. Your career is going to be on the magnifying glass. You shouldn't be picking in the top 5 very often if you're a decent organization. And Atlanta's not that bad of an organization.
But what does Atlanta have? Atlanta has a quarterback in Matt Ryan, a former MVP, that's going to be there, has to be there. Arthur Smith, their new coach, offensive genius. What do they need? They have receivers. They have a pretty good offensive line. They'll figure out running back. They brought your boy Mike Davis in. They need
I like
a
Davis.
fucking unicorn, and there he is at 4.
That's a big risk to me. I got two more points though to make real quick about why the Dallas Cowboys need to draft defense at number 10. I got two points real quick. The point that Dallas needs to draft defense, 3 things: Jalen Hurts, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Daniel Jones. You're not going to have a big window where you have a bunch of quarterbacks who either can't get it done, or in Jalen Hurts' case, it's an unknown, but he's still young, so he's going to probably make some mistakes. The fucking NFC East, you have the best quarterback as of now. Dak Prescott's the best quarterback in that division.
Isn't that sad?
That doesn't. No, it's not sad because Dak Prescott's the hell of a quarterback. What I'm saying is there's not a whole lot of times your team is going to be in position to be able to conquer the entire division based on the quarterback play or how you're set up. So they need to get it right this year and maybe next year. That's it. That's the window, because Washington's going to get a fucking quarterback. Jalen Hurts could be a stud, and Giants will move on after this year if Daniel Jones sucks again. And you don't want that move on to be a Russell Wilson. You don't want that move on to be a Deshaun Watson after he gets pardoned from jail. You don't want that to be some stud that comes out of the draft and lights the world on fire. So now is the time, just to say it. I love how Dr. Tomas and other people say, you can't draft for need. You can't draft for need. Draft for the best player available. But then they criticize me when Carolina takes Justin Fields at number 8. Oh, you don't need him, but he's the best player on the fucking board. So I don't understand why are we not doing that with quarterbacks? We can do that with every position. Yeah, draft fucking 6,000 wide receivers because they're the best player on the board, or 6,000 defensive linemen or tight end. But quarterback? Oh no, you don't want to do that.
Well,
the hardest position to get right. You don't want to double up on that.
I will honestly give you that. That's a valid point.
Well, but quickly though, Dr. Tomas, and to answer that, Scotty, real quick, you only play one quarterback at a time. So you can't. To me, there's 2 offensive tackles, 2 offensive guards. You're not drafting fucking center at fucking 10. There's potentially 3 fucking receivers. You got 1 quarterback. So
2 tight ends, 3 tight ends.
Yeah, like you can't say quarterback is the best available on everybody's board, because if you got a quarterback, they're not. So that's that. But Dr. Tomas, what do you think about the fact that if Dallas has the best quarterback in the division, what do you think about Scotty's take about we got to fucking just go all defense? Would you not want to be the best show on turf and just say, fuck it, we're just going to be the best offense? Or do you now have to say, since we have the best quarterback in the division, we got to now take out the other side of the ball?
As much as I want to bash you for that and try to say that, yeah, Dak is overrated or whatever, truthfully, you guys do have not only the best quarterback in the division, probably the best offense as it's currently set up in the division. When you look at how the team's constructed and what's going to more than likely be available at 10, it's probably going to be defense. I agree with Scott on that point. If a player, and this is a big if a player like a Sewell or a Pitts falls to 10, in that scenario, I feel like you do go best player available and pick an offensive player. How likely that is? Not very. I think it will be defense, just looking at the board and what will be there.
I agree. You're right. My thoughts exactly. I wish that I had a little bit of Penei Sewell at number 10. And, of course,
that would be incredible.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't even know if you want Penei Sewell 10, because if he falls that far, it means he's got some fucking gas mask or fucking sex tape or drug allegation against him, because there's no reason for him to slip out of the top 10 or top 8.
The only thing I'd say to that, Scotty, is this draft this year has the potential to shock us all. This really has the potential of having 5 quarterbacks in the top 5.
Don't get my fucking hopes up. It's
no, I know.
It's going to be a letdown like the fucking 30 quarterbacks that we're supposed to.
I got a little bit of a Dr. Tomas special for you guys.
Ooh.
If you're ready for it. So I know that Scotty, for a while, he was talking about how he wanted to trade out of number 2 overall. So something we were discussing recently, how open would you be, Rocco?
Okay.
If you were the Jets sitting at 23, trading back and getting more assets for both 2022 as well as perhaps more 2nd, 3rd, potentially 4th rounders this year. Is that something that you think is in line for them, or do you think they have to take a guy at 23?
Okay, so you're talking 23. I would say it just depends on where. So if you're going to tell me I got to swap 23 for a team like, say, Chicago, who wants to get back in, or say like a Seattle, who is
It
not
would
in
never
the
happen.
first round.
Chicago would have to trade up like 25 picks. It would never happen.
I'm just saying. So if that happens,
Dr. Tomas is alluding to his Philadelphia Eagles, which would be like the 6th, 7th pick or something. So that's honestly, I probably would do that. If I'm only going to move back, I don't know, 10 picks, something like that, or I guess it'd be more than 10 picks. It'd be like 13 picks. If I'm going to move back 13 picks and I still have the 34th overall pick, I would probably do it.
See, that's where I was going.
Unless there's a surefire
because
stud.
you have 34, right? So if you have 34, and if someone say trades, if you can get like the fucking 38th or the 40th pick also and trade out of 23, I'd do it in a fucking heartbeat. But if you're talking like someone like Indy, like at 54, or somebody that's closer to 60, no, I wouldn't do it.
No,
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah. This is how the thought originated in my mind. While I was building out my mock draft, I was seeing some pretty intriguing prospects in that range, and I could definitely see a team looking to get back in the first round to grab someone, and being that the New York Jets had already selected someone, I can see them being a team looking to collect more assets and get rid of that 23 pick. But talking to Scotty, knowing he's a Jets fan, he's been very open to dealing that second pick, but I haven't really heard anything about that 23rd being in play.
No, I haven't. But honestly, I think this is the perfect time to let everyone know that it's time. I think it's time for Dr. Tomas's mock draft. I don't really want to hear about what everybody else thinks. I want to hear about what Dr. Tomas thinks. I think it's time for him to fucking put his money where his mouth is.
I don't want to hear what Dr. Tomas thinks.
I'm sorry, it's gonna happen.
Too bad.
We gotta hear it. It's on here, baby. I want to start with the 2021 NFL mock draft from Dr. Tomas. The Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock, and I really can't imagine that you're going to shock anybody here with it.
Justin Fields, baby. Just kidding. No, it's gonna be Lawrence. There's no way. Everyone knows that this pick is already made. Jaguars are gonna go Trevor Lawrence. He's gonna run the show there. How good he's gonna be, we don't know. That could be a debate for another day. With the number 2 pick, I have the Jets taking Zach Wilson. Another straightforward pick. We all know the direction that's going there. Joe Douglas even alluded to it this week. With the 3rd pick, I think this is where things get interesting. I know that there was some contentious debates in your own mock drafts with what direction the Niners were going to go at number 3. I'm siding with Rocco here. I have them going with McCorkle Jones, quarterback from Alabama. Scotty, any thoughts? I know you had him falling all the way to 17.
I think it's possible. I just think if he doesn't get taken at 3, I think there's a lot of teams that probably pass on him because I don't think he wowed anybody.
I agree.
I think San Fran is just one of those teams that Kyle Shanahan's a weird dude. He has certain things, or maybe John Lynch is in love with the guy. I don't know. But I think if he doesn't get picked at 3, I can see a lot of teams passing on him. What wouldn't shock me, and I don't think I've ever brought this up, but I'm going to say it right now. What wouldn't shock me if instead of Mac Jones, it's Justin Fields, which could have been a smokescreen that he's going to fall. But just because there's so much bad publicity right now around Justin Fields, I'm going to say he gets out of at least that top 3, and that's why I went with Trey Lance. But go ahead.
So one thing that's interesting with that pick now is I know that Justin Fields is having a second pro day. So I can see him potentially being in play there. And personally, I think you guys know how big of a Justin Fields fan I am. I would even argue he's like QB 1/2. Him and Trevor Lawrence are interchangeable in my mind. When you look at that number 3, I would pick him. I would pick Justin Fields there. But again, this is what I think will happen. It's not what I would do.
We all don't like Mac Jones. We all are in agreement with that, but we're not drafting for the 49ers. So,
Dr. Tomas, I got a quick question for you. In my mock draft, and I don't think we covered this at all, I got McCorkle Jones falling all the way to 17. I know you think he goes at 3, but if somehow, some way they take Justin Fields or they take a Trey Lance at 3, how far do you think he goes before someone either trades up or picks him up?
Well, I think there's too many teams looking for a quarterback this year. I think you have teams like Denver sitting at 9. You have Washington football team sitting there. You have New England sitting there. You have Oakland. You have the Chicago Bears. All of these teams could potentially be on the lookout for a quarterback. I think there's too many teams up there looking for one. And then there's teams like the Falcons, the Bengals, the Lions, and the Panthers that could potentially look to move out of their pick, and a team like that can hop into there. So I think there's no way that he falls to 17 like you have it. Again, anything can happen with the NFL draft, but I don't see it as likely.
And Dr. Tomas, you're exactly right. Anything can happen. All of a sudden, the Oakland Raiders are back. So that's that.
Did I say Oakland Raiders?
No, Dr. Tomas did.
Okay. Las Vegas Raiders.
Believe me. I did it the first year, but finally, I think I've gotten used to it. But I had to give you shit for that. We have the Atlanta Falcons on the board, number 4, Dr. Tomas.
Yeah, now this is an interesting pick here because in my imaginary mock scenario, I had a lot of teams calling up about this pick. They were trying to, especially with the uncertainty of who the Niners are going to pick, whenever that domino falls, I feel like there's going to be a lot of phone calls to the Atlanta Falcons to hop in and get the next quarterback that's sitting there. In my scenario, though, Atlanta makes the smart move. They go with the safe bet, and they take Kyle Pitts. They are not out of their pits.
Not out of their pits. Okay. All right. So it's interesting. All 4 of us also have Kyle Pitts going 4th. Now, number 5.
Yeah, I think we stick with Joe Burrow's battery mate here from college. Jamar Chase lands with the Bengals.
What are you, just fucking reading Rocco's mock draft? Is that what you're doing? You guys are in sync on every step of the way here.
Rocco does a lot of research.
That's a good point. Here's the one I was interested about. I can't wait to hear what Dr. Tomas has to say about Miami here.
Yeah, I think this is a pretty straightforward pick as well. I think they need to patch up that offensive line. It's going to be probably your favorite name to say in the draft, Penei Sewell.
Oh, look at that, the trifecta, the Penei Sewell, huh? Okay.
The Penei Sewell.
Wow, okay, yeah. So
well, I got to say,
we are in lockstep for 6 picks here, pal.
Yeah, I got to say, it's been pretty chalk thus far, pretty boring. This is where it gets fun, fellas.
Oh, let's get into it.
Things get a little spicy now. With the 7th pick, the Detroit Lions trade out.
Okay.
With the New England Patriots.
Oh, boy. This is where it goes south.
They hop 15 to 7 to grab Justin Fields from the Ohio State University.
Honestly, it wouldn't be a bad fit. It's just unlike Belichick, but it wouldn't be a bad fit. He would be a good. I don't want to compare him to Cam Newton, but they have somewhat similar skill set where they both can move. They're both mobile. Cam Newton's definitely a little different, and I think Justin Fields actually throws the ball a hell of a lot better than Cam Newton. Cam Newton can hit the fucking broadside of a barn, but a little bit more similar style. It's a little bit easier to coach guys that are on the same kind of wavelength there.
Sure, but Fields doesn't, as Dr. Tomas calls it, Fields doesn't shot put the ball down the field. Cam Newton is, to me, that's the reason why I call him scam. Is just he is. I don't know how he's gotten away with it for so long. I don't understand.
I think at this point in Cam's career, Justin Fields starting tomorrow is better than Cam Newton.
Oh, absolutely. But and we all love Fields as far as the fact that we have no idea why he's sliding. But at the same time, every one of these quarterbacks has a bugaboo about him, and you just got to prove to me that an Ohio State quarterback can work. But Dr. Tomas, that's the big move, the first trade of your mock draft.
To piggyback off of Scotty's point, I think that Justin Fields sitting behind Cam Newton would be the perfect mentorship. I think that eventually he would take over at some point during his rookie season. He has that strong arm, can really stretch the field. And I think it's the perfect Belichick move for him to try to shut up the helmet scouts out there that say there will never be a successful Ohio State quarterback, only because there has never historically been.
Here's where I would say that I don't agree with both things you just said, Dr. Tomas, because I really believe it's a way better chance that the Ohio State quarterback does not work out because they haven't given you any reason to. Number 2, Belichick is only getting older. He's only getting more desperate. He doesn't have time to teach a rookie. He doesn't have time to wait. That's why he goes back to his man crush who he never wanted to fucking get rid of, Jimmy G, in my opinion. So
one thing you're not considering, though, is Josh McDaniels has always been enamored with a mobile quarterback. And we're talking about a guy that's not only has the big frame, 6'3", 230 pounds, but he's got that 4'4", 40. They see which way the NFL's going, and this is a game plan nightmare.
You're right.
Game plan against a guy like that, this is where Belichick makes his move this year.
Now, does Carolina make a move at number 8?
No, this one's going to hurt for you, Rocco. I'm sorry to do this.
Oh,
But at number 8, Carolina stays put, and they draft Patrick Surtain.
son of a bitch. Son of a bitch.
I like that pick. I like that pick. But real quick, I was just thinking about this. To go back one pick, I don't mean to fuck this whole thing up, but you know what I was just thinking? You know how we say that there's all this bad juju and news about fucking
Yeah, Juju's bad.
Justin Fields?
Mm-hmm.
No, about Justin Fields? Who is the mastermind of behind the scenes scandals and bullshit and leaking stuff out and cheating and this and that? Bill Belichick. Who knows if Bill Belichick's the one who's leaking all this bad stuff out about Justin Fields?
That's a
and
great
he's
point.
the one pulling a Don Shula and trying to get his version of Marino.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I love that point. Nobody will mention that. That's a great point. I'm just still pissed off that Surtain just went to Carolina, but
Let's go to now.
Well, this one's interesting, too. We have Denver at number 9. In my hypothetical mock draft here, they were one of the teams that were calling Atlanta for that number 4 pick. They weren't able to strike a deal. Atlanta wanted Kyle Pitts too much. They got their guy anyway at number 9 as they draft Trey Lance from North Dakota State. Fills in a big question mark on their team. And I think that they go with the potential here.
interesting. I
think it's pretty standard. I don't think it's too crazy.
I think they're going one more year with Drew Lock. I really do.
I do too, but if they are going to stay put and take a quarterback, that's probably one of the guys that's going to be on the board.
Sure. I don't agree with Dr. Tomas here, but I am fucking salivating to figure out what the Dallas Cowboys do at 10.
I hope we're ready. We're in NFC East territory
Here
now.
we go.
We have the premier division in football. Everyone knows it. Every primetime game. We have
I'm
the
gonna stop
Dallas
listening now.
Cowboys. We have the Dallas Cowboys leading off with the number 10 pick. They go with one of my favorite guys in this draft, Kwity Paye.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow. Oh,
Time to shore up that pass rush.
I'm sorry. I was going to sit off of
I don't
these
like
for a
that
couple
pick.
picks. This pick sucks just because I'm scarred from Taco Charlton. They cannot take defensive end from Michigan. There's no way. I love Paye. I think he's, like I said, but I don't think he's top 10 material, number one. Number two, we need a guy who's going to get after the quarterback, and he just doesn't do that. But that's me. I'm so dejected over here. I mean, I can't even tell you.
25% pass rush win rate, though.
I think
if you look at those advanced stats, he does.
I think you just assured yourself you're going to get Kwity Paye.
I'm going to say back to Kwity Paye. I told you guys that he will more than likely be a top 10 pick, and he's not making it at past number 12. He will go to an NFC East team if he's there. I will go with the 11th pick. The Giants will not be able to take him in my mock draft, but if the Cowboys, for whatever reason, do not, the Giants, I could see taking him as well.
Okay.
Who do you have the Giants taking?
The Giants, I stuck with you guys. They go with Slater out of Northwestern. They shore up that offensive line a little bit.
I just can't see Gettleman doing anything different. I really can't.
With my Eagles, this one gets a little bit interesting.
Here we go. You got the 3 guys who I think are on the Philly radar still available. Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, and Micah Parsons. Who we going with, baby?
Kellen Mond.
Now, this one was very difficult. Hard to do your own team because you want to make this pick with your heart instead of your head. But I had to be smart about this. And the most likely route I think they take.
And I'm sorry, guys. We're going to have to wrap up this show. That's going to call it a day. That's the show for today.
All
Tune
right,
in next
so
week.
Load Boost is
All right, Dr. Tomas, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
With Devontae Smith on the board, Howie Roseman passes him up for J.C. Horn, cornerback, South Carolina.
Ooh.
I just heard
Interesting.
Philadelphia crumble. I just heard him. I heard him crumble.
The city will burn if that happens.
Oh, my God.
They better start lubing the
Could
fucking
you
lamppost
imagine?
now, is all I'm saying.
With that said, though, J.C. Horn is an incredible prospect that I love. I think that you can't go wrong with that pick. He's got size. He's got athleticism. He's great. Probably the best
You're gonna
press
pass
coverage
on
guy in the
Caleb
draft.
Farley? What are Caleb Farley? You gonna pass on him?
J.C. Horn is the Eagles' pick there.
Wow.
I'm sorry to my fellow Philadelphia fans.
Wow. Holy
But
shit.
they passed on Devontae Smith.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, though, Rock. If that happened, your team's fucked because Slay and Horn, if he is what they think he's gonna be, especially if you're right and you don't think Dak can sling the ball as well as I do, they're in trouble because they've had some guys that are stepping up. They've had a lot of injuries. The Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah. I don't think they're as decimated on offense as people think. I think they've had a lot of injuries. They've had the injury bug, and they could still get a guy in the second, third round that'd probably be productive. So honestly, I don't think that's the worst pick in the world.
No, I'm not saying it's the worst pick. I'm saying for Philadelphia Eagle fans because
they'll be miserable.
Everything that I've researched, everything I've done with watching Eagles stuff and all that stuff, these fans are dying for one of these receivers at Alabama. Dying. And they think at this point, since Roseman traded out from 6, not only is with Kyle Pitts, of course, out of it, but they are saying, oh my God, Waddle and Smith are going to be gone. We're going to be fucked. These are the guys we wanted and blah, blah, blah. If they go to 12 and in this scenario, Waddle and Smith are still available, it's a fucking riot. It's a riot. But
I can't wait.
In Dr. Tomas's defense, that's the pick they should do. They need to build the defense. They either need Mekhi Parsons, who I have in my draft, or
I agree with that too.
They need a corner. And whether it's Farley, Horn, or Surtain, they need a corner.
I think the corner would just lock down the secondary, which would help everybody up front as well.
Yeah. So I love that pick as far as technically, but with the fans, oh my God, they hate it.
I think it's very standard best player available there. I think you can make an argument that Devontae Smith actually is the best, but that's such a tough evaluation. I think it really depends on how you view the importance of the position. And with them investing so much draft capital, even last year in the first round with Jalen Reagor, I think it would be difficult for them to justify drafting another receiver when there's a premier corner sitting on the board there.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And like you said, you drafted there with your head, not your heart. And that's what the pros do. Let's go to the Chargers at 13. Do they stay?
This pick's going to get contentious here. I hope you're ready. Buckle up, because the Chargers are going to take a guy that we spoke in detail about on the last episode. Despite the injury history, they go Caleb Farley, cornerback, Virginia Tech. I'm going to need your thoughts on this. I know Scotty had him out of the first round. Rocco, you had him going, I think, 22 to the Titans. Mm-hmm. This is a bit higher. I think I'm a bit higher on him as a prospect than you guys. So I want to know your thoughts here.
They need corner. They just got rid of Casey Hayward. They need a corner. Brandon Staley, their coach, is a defensive-minded coach. I just think this is a little high because my main concern for this team, for them to take the full step in what I think they're going to win the fucking division, and they have a chance, like I said in episode 8, they have a chance to win the Super Bowl. They're one of the 8 teams that have a chance to win a Super Bowl. They are missing one glaring need on offense to set them up to be just as good as the Chiefs, if not better on offense. They need a left tackle, and Christian Darrisaw is there. I think he's the pick. I mean, right there. So
I don't think it's a terrible pick. I know they need a corner. I don't know if I'd risk with Farley coming off his injuries and whatnot, but I agree with you, Rock. I think they need something to kind of compete with Kansas City, but there's 2 ways you do it. You either get ready for a shootout, or if you're not confident in your defense, you get something that can shut Mahomes down.
Agreed.
So I don't think it's a bad pick, honestly. I think offensive line would be a little better, or even a wide receiver. But either way, I don't think it's a bad pick.
Yeah,
I think, honestly, the Los Angeles Chargers are in a good spot. Almost anything's going to help them.
Yes, and the only thing I'd say to that is this kid Darrisaw will be your plug-and-play left tackle day one. Could they get defense in the second round, especially with a defensive-minded coach who knows how to scout? Absolutely. I don't think you get a day one tackle in the second round.
Rocco, one of the things I was considering with this pick is I thought about taking an offensive lineman or another position there, but the more I thought about it, I could not pass up, as Daniel Jeremiah put it, a top 5 overall player in this draft. I know the injury history is tough with the back surgery that he just had, and also not mentioned too often, that ACL injury in 2017, but there's so much potential there with his size, 6'2", 200 pounds, was a high school quarterback, went to Virginia Tech as a wide receiver and didn't transition to cornerback until about 2 years ago. So this is a guy that is relatively inexperienced at the position, but stood out on tape and flashed so much that I think this is an exciting pick for the Chargers to make here.
Yeah, you love this kid.
With pick 14, I have the Minnesota Vikings going defensive end with Jason Owe from Penn State.
Okay.
Following that up with pick number 15, was originally New England's pick. Detroit traded back. They get the guy that they were going to target at number 7 anyway, Devontae Smith. Great day for the Detroit Lions. I think that's a great get for them.
Absolutely. I think it's late, but yes.
I don't think he slides that far, but we'll see.
That's just the way the board fell this time. With pick 16, I have the Arizona Cardinals going defensive line with Christian Barmore from Alabama.
Oh, just like Scotty G. Nope.
I have him going there. You don't have him going there?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that pick helps him a lot. Pick 17, I have the Las Vegas Raiders going with a very stereotypical pick for them as they go with one of the flashiest athletes in this draft, Micah Mackay Pfeiffer Parsons from Penn State.
He goes.
He's got 4 fucking names.
Mackay Becton, Micah Parson Pfeiffer. Yeah, that's that's a steal for them at 17, in my opinion.
I'm going to need your opinions on this pick because here we have the Dolphins making their second pick. If you remember at number 6, they took Penei Sewell. This is one of the steals of the draft, the way it fell for them. They get Jalen Waddle from Alabama all the way at 18.
It's a great pick. I wouldn't be shocked if they took him if they moved back and took him earlier. I wouldn't be shocked at that either.
Great pick. Reunites him with Tua. Here's the issue, though. I really don't believe those 2 Alabama receivers get to 15. So I think that'd be a steal for Detroit and a steal for Miami.
I agreed.
Who was the receiver, though, that came out and shit on Tua? Who was the one that said, I'd rather have
That
Mac
was
Jones?
Devontae Smith.
So it's Devontae Smith. So, it's a good thing Devontae didn't go to Miami.
Yeah, the only thing is, I'm gonna say this real quick. The only reason why I don't think Waddle is, because Waddle is, we agree, he's a speedster, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Well, what did they just get?
They just got Will Fuller.
What is he? A speedster.
But
I don't know, unless they want to pull like the Philly mentality and go speedsters on all ends, I don't know if they actually go with Waddle at that point. That's why, in mine, I think I had him taking Sewell. Because I think they went and got Fuller, so they didn't have to take a wide receiver in this draft.
Yeah, my issue with Dr. Tomas's pick of Waddle here, not only is Waddle there too late, but number 2, they don't need help at receiver. They got Fuller. They got Devontae Parker's a fucking stud.
Rocco, guys fall every single year. There's guys that we're projecting as top 10 picks that will fall.
This
happens every year.
This is the CD Lamb issue, right? They just got to take him at this point.
He's there. He's on the board.
Yeah.
Chase was in play with the 6th pick. He went 1 pick earlier. They drafted Sewell. They get an elite speed receiver that some people have rated higher than Ruggs at number 18. I think that Sewell combined with Waddle is a hell of a first round for Miami.
Absolutely. They still have needs on the offensive line and on the defensive line. But other than that, yeah, I mean, if it's a CD Lamb syndrome where Dallas should have just said, hey, we want fucking K'Lavon Chason from LSU, who would have been a nice edge rusher. But when CD Lamb's there, you got to fucking take him. So I get it.
I got to move on past this pick because we're going to need some time for the next one.
Okay.
Because it gets a little interesting here. Because I have the Washington football team drafting Kyle Trask from Florida.
Holy shit.
I got no problem with that.
Wow.
I don't have anything to say other than that's a great pick for Washington.
Wow. I mean, honestly, we love Trask. All of us fucking love Trask. I
got no problem with that at all.
I can't see 6 quarterbacks in the top 19. I mean, it's fucking unbelievable.
I mean, this is always what happens to Fitzpatrick, though. I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
It's always right. Like it's going to be Fitzpatrick's team, and then what happens?
No, you're right. And that's why I had them taking Lance at 9 in mine. I have them trading up to get Lance. But I just think Trask is going to be one of those Bridgewater and Lamar Jackson's, like he's going to be at the end of the first round, someone trades in. Or if Tampa Bay selects him, I wouldn't be mad with that. But I'm just saying I think Trask is the end of the first round guy.
With the 20th pick, I have another potential steal for the Bears here. I have Christian Darrisaw, the offensive lineman from Virginia Tech.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Pick number 21 for the Indianapolis Colts. I have them getting a feared pass rusher to add to that dominant defense, Azeez Ojulari, edge rusher from Georgia.
D's. Yeah, I love Azeez Ojulari as far as now the fact that we've been so into him the past couple episodes. Now I'm going to really pay attention a lot further into this guy, and now if he goes wherever he goes in the first round or second round and he sacks a quarterback, I hope he fucking drapes his nuts on the guy's forehead. I really do. I really do.
I don't know.
All right. With that said, with pick number 22, the Tennessee Titans select Rashad Bateman, wide receiver, Minnesota, replaces Corey Davis, who went to Scotty's Jets.
That's a good spot for him.
Yeah, good spot. With Caleb Farley on my board, I had them taking Farley. There's no way they go receiver on my board. But I
had him trading up for Waddle. So
yep. Mm-hmm.
I like Rashad Bateman a lot as a prospect, though. So I think that was a relatively easy pick for me. But this next one, we've made our way to Scotty's New York Jets, and I already know he's going to hate this.
Jets.
But for me, this was a no-brainer selection. This is my best player available methodology here. And this was by far the best guy on the board, in my opinion. You're going to say it's not a need, but they go Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, front linebacker from Notre Dame.
Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. Remember that name, Scotty?
Yeah, I remember that. You're out of your fucking mind with this. You're out of your mind. So
this has got Salah written all over it.
How does this have Salah written all over it?
This is Patrick Willis.
Well,
this is Darius Leonard. This is the next middle linebacker.
Okay. So let me ask you this. I understand the writing is semi on the wall, but everyone's already done. We're already admitting that fucking CJ Mosley's done.
Yeah,
He's out.
Hasn't played in 2 years, Scott. At some point, you have to make other plans there, especially when you have the best player available there.
Dude, he hasn't
played.
About that. If you take away COVID, there's a lot of people that haven't played a year because of COVID. COVID was it was a very unique situation.
2 years, Scotty.
If you take that away, he played 2 games in 2019.
Rocco, 2 games.
Hey,
I'm just saying,
Sammy Watkins on defense.
If you take away that year, it's like basically you played last season. Dude, there's a lot of guys that get hurt and miss a season.
Here's the only thing, Scotty.
So Joe Burrow,
it's the money.
Joe Burrow, if he gets hurt again or set back, we're saying he's done. I mean, Deshaun Jackson didn't play last year. We saying he's done? I mean, Deshaun Jackson's old, but Deshaun Jackson's been hurt a million times.
I'm saying that Deshaun Jackson's done. Yes.
Yeah, Deshaun Jackson.
Well, yes, he's done because of age.
Mosley,
but
CJ Mosley ain't the youngest anymore, and he's fucking
29.
expensive.
29
He's
this
expensive. He's expensive too.
29. You guys, I don't even think he's 29, dude. He's like 26, you fucks.
29 going into this season.
He's at 26, you fucks. Listen, the thing is,
he's going to be 29 going into the season. You're right, Tom.
The thing about Mosley
He's
is
28 right
he's
now.
a fucking stud. The problem is not only hasn't he played, he's going to be a huge cap hit. So go get your fucking future Patrick Willis in the draft.
No,
I actually like this pick.
This guy's got no respect on his fucking name. Like the guy played 3 quarters and looked like the best defensive player other than Revis we've had in like last 10 years.
No, he's unbelievable.
Everyone wants to shit on him.
No, I'm not saying shit on, but you got to get the future. I don't think Mosley's there in 2022. You know what I'm saying?
Rocco,
So
you want to know a bonus about this selection? We get to hear the New York football fans attempt to say this name.
Oh yeah, no, that would be great. But once they get it, it'll be, Koramoah.
The only reason why you're probably right is because CJ Mosley is not the strongest pass coverage. That's the only reason why you're probably right.
But he's expensive.
And the NFL, and he's expensive.
Yeah.
But also, I got to look at the cap hit. I don't even know if we can cut him this year or next year. I got to look because you understand
Scotty.
he's the highest paid. He's the highest paid middle linebacker in the fucking league.
Yeah.
Scotty, it's not about this year though. When a guy like that is sitting on the board, you know that I know Joe Douglas quite well because of his time in Philly. So when I was looking at this selection, I know that you guys are in need of a pass rusher. I know that you're in need of a corner.
Offensive
line. As much as I know offensive line as well. You are correct, Rocco. When I was looking to fill those specific holes, I couldn't ignore this guy sitting there.
Yeah,
I
you
think
said
that
you said to yourself, Joe Douglas going to do the same thing he did in Philly and build the whole middle linebacking core like he did in Philly, right? All the great middle linebackers you've had in Philly the last fucking 10 years. You got no linebackers in Philly.
It's
What
a
are you
much
talking
different difference. It's a much different defense than they were running in Philly. A Jim Schwartz defense is not a Robert Saleh defense. Let's be real here.
Now, here's the thing. I love this pick. If you don't go offensive line here and he's still there, Owusu Koroma is still there. Like I said, he's Patrick Willis. He's Darius Leonard. I can see them trading out. Or, and I can see them waiting to take corner at 34.
I'm not upset with the pick. I think they take corner. I'm not upset with the pick. The only thing is that upsets me is that means C.J. Mosley is gone. And I would at least like to see one full fucking season of this guy before we just ship him out. Because what's going to happen is he's going to go somewhere else and be a top 5 linebacker somewhere. And we're going to be like, oh, remember when he used to be on our team?
Yeah, Mosley's a stud. I hope they keep him. I do. And in this situation, who knows? Maybe you can keep both of them. But at the same time,
not going to happen because they also got Jared, what's his name?
They got Davis. Davis a fucking tackle machine, too.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Tomas, what's up with number 24?
Yeah, I knew that one was going to get Scotty quite heated there. I'm sorry to do that. They needed it, though. They got their offensive field general in Wilson. Now they got their defensive field general. So I think it made sense. But moving on to 24, this is another one that's going to create quite a debate. The Pittsburgh Steelers select Kellen Mond, quarterback, Texas A&M. Go ahead and say it, Rocco. What am I out of?
I think I got to save it for Scotty. Come on.
You're out of your pits.
I have nothing to say. 7 quarterbacks in the top 24. No fucking way.
There it goes.
Holy
Had
shit.
to do it.
Holy
It reminds me a lot of the Jordan Love pick last year. I think it's a guy that's going to be sitting at the end of the first round. A team that doesn't need a quarterback to start this year is going to take him. They're going to sit him behind a future Hall of Fame quarterback and let him learn for a year and then hope that they can develop him to be the guy after he retires. That was my thought process.
Wow. Unbelievable. I think he's going to be a stretch to be at the end of the second round, and you got him at 24 in the first. Holy shit. Jacksonville at 25.
I have Jacksonville going with a speed threat here. They draft Elijah Moore, wide receiver from Ole Miss.
Okay.
So they give Trevor Lawrence a guy that can stretch the field a bit. I know they got some interesting receivers there already, but this is a nice young receiver for him to really grow and develop with.
I think so. We didn't have Elijah Moore in our first round. I think he's going to be an early second rounder, and I really thought Dr. Tomas was going to reunite Travis Etienne with Trevor Lawrence here. But okay.
No, I like that. I love the speed of Elijah Moore. I think that's the pick there.
Okay.
Dr. Tomas loves Mr. fucking Jeremiah. I guarantee you he's got no running backs this first round. He's going to fucking suck off if Mr. Jeremiah. Not one running back's going to be in this first round. I guarantee it.
If he heard our take on Buffalo at number 30, then I think he should have Etienne there. But let's see.
Pick 26, I have Zaven Collins, linebacker, Tulsa, going to the Cleveland Browns.
Good pick. I like that.
Good pick. All right.
Moving on to number 27, the Baltimore Ravens select edge rusher Jalen Phillips, Miami, from the U.
I like that guy.
Yep, and I think he'll stand up then in 3-4 with them.
Yep, I did consider that he is an athletic freak. That broad jump, that vertical he has, I think you'll see him be a very versatile player for them, which they like. So that was the pick there.
I think if they go edge rusher there, I got them taking Rashad Bateman, the receiver. If they go edge rusher there, and I know Scotty had Kwity Paye, they'd go with more of a guy like Phillips or even Greg Rousseau from Miami as well. He's longer and a little bit more athletic. I can see him being the stand-up guy there, but I can see where you went here.
Pick number 28, I have the Saints going with a corner, Asante Samuel Jr. from Florida State.
I had him in my original mock.
Yes,
there
Scotty
were
did.
some other corners on the board there, but I had them going with Asante Samuel Jr.
He's considered a favorite for New Orleans, too. They apparently, Sean Payton really likes him fucking picking it. Does Sean Payton make the pick?
It's Peyton and fucking Mickey Loomis.
Yeah, apparently they really like him. The only reason why I didn't have him in my – I originally had him there. The only reason why I didn't is because in my mock I had him traded out. That was it.
Yep.
With the 29th pick, I think you guys are going to be on the same page as me here, but I have them appeasing Aaron Rodgers after his phenomenal season.
I'm not. Nope. Go ahead.
I have them going with Rondale Moore, wide receiver from Purdue.
That's what I got.
No way. They're not going to receiver. There's no fucking way. They're basically, if they go receiver this round or this year in the first round, they're basically admitting to Aaron Rodgers we fucked up last year. They're not doing that.
He's just such a gadget player. He's sitting there. He's going to create so much for that offense. They can line him up in the backfield. They can line him up in the slot.
Yeah.
And he's just an explosive player.
I'm not hating on Rondell Moore. I think Rondell Moore's fucking fantastic. I had him going a pick before to the Saints. But I'm just saying I don't think Green Bay goes receiver.
With the 30th pick, I have the Buffalo Bills going with Gregory Rousseau, edge rusher, Miami, the U.
I don't know. I don't think he's a 4-3 end. They got a stud, line there with Ed Oliver in the middle. Russo to me is thin. He reminds me of fucking, remember Barkevius Mingo? Fucking fast motherfucker, but he was like 225 pounds. I mean, he was just rail thin. He's got to be a stand-up guy. So I think he goes to a 3-4 team to stand up. And I think ETN, like I said, I've felt ETN for months, is that pick there. All right, let's go to 31 with the Chiefs.
I have the Chiefs going offensive line here. They go with Tevin Jenkins, tackle from Oklahoma State.
That'd be a fantastic fucking steal for them. I got him at 17 because he's a nasty motherfucker. They'll put you through the ground. If he's there at 31, Mahomes just found his new replacement for Eric Fisher or
that's
Schwartz.
Definitely what he needs.
Yeah.
And then with the final pick of the first round, I have the Bucks going with an obvious guy. He fell in this situation. A no-brain pick, Trayvon Merrick from TCU safety.
I can't believe some of the guys that are still on the board. I can't believe, Elijah Vera Tucker did not go in the first round. I can't believe that
Did Terrace Marshall
didn't go.
Terrace Marshall, sorry, he was still in the...
Yeah, he's still there too. Interesting. And no running backs.
Marshall.
No running backs.
No running backs. First time since 2014.
Only one tight end.
I don't see it. I think Freiermuth, there's a good point. I love the pick that you made,
I could
Scotty,
see him slip into
with
the second,
Freiermuth with the Jaguars, but I can see him being the first pick of the second round.
Yeah.
So, but that's that no running backs. I think that's horse shit. That's not happening. And Vera Tucker is probably the third best offensive lineman, if not the second best. So, he'll go in the first round too.
I don't know about that. I think I could easily see him sliding to the second.
Okay. All right. So that was Dr. Tomas's mock draft. I'll tell you, some fucking head scratchers. This guy's got no running backs in the first round, and he's got 7 quarterbacks. Not only would it be the first time that fucking more than 5 quarterbacks hit, he picked 7. Holy shit. But here's the deal. Next episode 10, we're going to do, each of us, we're going to do our titillating. Yeah, I said titillating. Top 5 remaining draft picks that weren't in our first round that we think are going to be steals for those teams in the second round. We can't wait. But for now, Rocco B, and for Dr. Tomas and Scotty G, we'll say see you later. Sayonara.
Adios.
Peace.